Hello, my name is Sarah, and welcome to my channel, Play with Curious Sunshine, where we talk about the transformative power of play. We talk about what it means to be playful, how to approach life more playfully, and some stories about how I've applied playfulness to my daily life. So, happy to be back. It's been a little bit of a gap between the last video and this one. So, Happy New Year. And if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And also share this channel or video with someone who you think would find inspiration in what we talk about. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, today we'll be talking about kind of like the new year, setting goals, but more importantly, harnessing the power of nowness and really writing our story. And so this kind of inspired me when I was doing some kind of research in Curious Sunshine because having a play based business is very unconventional. And so with that, there's a lot of me paving the path and paving the way of figuring out what that looks like and how I can best communicate this to people who I think would really benefit from bringing more play into their lives, which is everyone. And so I came across this video that was talking about brand archetypes. And I love that kind of stuff. I'm like, tell me, categorize, even though I'm like, I don't want to be in a box, but I'm also like, but also what categories are there so I could lean into them. And so this one in particular came from like the more Carl Jung archetypes, and I was looking at, how does my brand show up? How can I communicate this brand in a way that makes sense? Like what themes, what ideas can I lean into for more inspiration? And I came across, well, it's not even I came across. I realized that Curious Sunshine, my brand, me in representation of the work that I do, falls under the archetype of the magician. Did I know this in the past? Probably. Was I in a space to really like embody that and understand it? Obviously not, because now we're coming to it with like new eyes. So yes, this brand falls under the archetype of the magician. And the main message of the magician is that, we make things possible. We turn the impossible into something possible, and we make your dreams come true. And the mission of Curious Sunshine is to make the world a more playful place. And this, sounds grand, but it's possible. But that idea starts from within. And so once we believe that a more playful world is possible, then we can start creating these actions to bring this from an idea to real life. And so this, and so I was like, okay, well, this really feeds into where we are in the beginning of the year, and there's all these New Year's resolutions. There's these goals that we set of how we want and how we view ourselves and where we want to be by the end of the year. And so that, that implies that there's this person, there's these traits, there's these habits that we want to invite into our lives. And a lot of this can come from reflection. Where was I last year or the years before, and what do I want to be now? And so this is a great place to start. And so with the New Year's and New Resolution goals, I also want to comment on the fact that sometimes we maybe are a little too hard on ourselves with these goals, especially if it's like, I want to pick up this new skill, I want to get in the gym more, I want to eat more healthy, I want to be more social. And then we hit the ground running for like the first week or two, and then we kind of fizzle out. And it's really kind of looking at what are our true wants, and how do we tackle those, and really taking it a step deeper and looking at what do we tell ourselves we can't do, and how do we kind of knock that off and then move towards, I can do anything. I can make my dreams come true, right? I am the magician of my own life. I can create magic every step of the way, and not holding so much so much pressure on New Year, right? The newness can start whenever. And that's really what it means to like harness this power of nowness. At any point during our lives, we can decide that we want to take a new direction and then decide in that moment to take that new direction. And I can bring this into something a little more simple, right? If we want to take in more healthy eating habits, we can, once we decide that, we can at that point make actions to align with that. And there was this gosh, it was so long ago, but I had a conversation with somebody, and it was like, I'm not a healthy eater yet, right? And so there's that power of yet, or until today, right? Until now, I'm not a healthy eater until now, right? And really honoring that, like we do have the power to make a split decision in the moment, and then like honor that. And this goes, try not to go on a tangent, but this really goes into like quantum leaping and choosing a new timeline for ourselves. And it really does come with the idea of saying, I can make this decision of changing my life and turning it around at any moment. And then boom, here we are, new life. Um, and really holding grace, right? Because it's easier said than done to say like, I'm gonna eat healthy, boom, and now I quit eating junk food cold turkey. Like, no, but to honor the path and to continue to consistently allow ourselves to align with that timeline, that choice is possible. And so with that idea of falling into the nowness and really writing our own story, there's questions about like, who do you want to be, right? Who do you want to be, and what manageable step can you take in that moment to support that? And I guess we'll keep using healthy eating as the example because this is something I'm currently doing. I went on like this carb bender like all last month where I was just like really eating my weight in sourdough bread, which was good. But I was like, yeah, carbs aren't my best friend right now. So, as of right now, we are gonna move towards eating more healthily. And so, what manageable step can we take once we set that goal, or really come down to what we want to be or what habits we want to take in, and not do this thing where we like renovate our whole lives, and I'm gonna buy all these things and sign up for all these courses, and it's like, yeah, that's really overwhelming. That's probably why maybe it didn't stick, because it's a lot to take in, without integrating it into our previous schedules and lives. And so really looking at what manageable step. Maybe that manageable step is just looking at alternatives, right? Looking up new recipes, really creating a new grocery list, or creating a grocery list that honors that trajectory that we want to take. And so that could even be like, if you say you want to work out, maybe it's just investing in some workout clothes that you really like, that if you buy something cute. And this is something I personally do. It's like, if I'm getting in like a workout fitness rut, I buy a really cute workout set, and it's like, oh, I want to work out because I want to wear this. And so really figuring out what you want to do, what goals you want to take, and then creating manageable steps that are fun. And I think that's the part that we're missing, right? And that's where we're here. We're bringing play into these other parts of our lives. So really bringing in something fun. Maybe for the healthy eating, you buy a really fun kitchen appliance that makes you want to lean into this even more. And so really I think the power of this comes from taking this nowness and creating these actionable steps. So then this want or this need leaves the parking lot of our brain and starts becoming something that's in our reality. And this can be even something like, I want to be a painter. And really looking at these things that we tell ourselves that stop us from accomplishing our dreams, or stop us from writing our own story of, it's too late to be a painter, or I'm already in this box of life and I can't go here. Yeah, you can. Free will. We can do whatever we want. If you want to be a painter, be a painter. And that means, this, maybe you're not in a space right now to go buy paints and canvas and all this stuff. Maybe it just starts with watching people paint on YouTube, listening to podcasts about artists, right? It could start small, and allowing yourself to be curious about what that looks like. But really dispelling or kind of tossing aside these thoughts and ideas of it's too late. It's never too late. If you still have the thought and you still have that desire and you are able to make that happen, if not right away, then in the future, then it's not too late. You can do it at any time. And there's also this thought or this fear of like, what if I fail? What if I try it and it doesn't, and I don't do well? What if I try and eat healthy and then I, go back and I'm eating, French fries and chips, which are yummy, but it's in the large scheme of things. In the large scheme of things, when we zoom out, it's better to try and fail than to not try at all. Because how would you know? How would you know? And it's really playing with these positive what ifs. What if you try doing this thing that you thought was too late and you find more inspiration? Maybe the goal is maybe not to be a professional, but just to find the joy in life. Maybe you're not going to be this like world famous painter, but if that's the sunshine and the joy and the play that you have in your life, that's a win. And so it's better to fail than to not try at all, because you never know. You never know until you try. Even if you take the one class, you reach out to the one person, it's better than to not. And this really goes into like, you read those stories about those people, and on their last stages of life, and people ask, what regrets do you have? And a lot of those regrets are never trying, never giving it a shot. And so something that I really firmly believe in is I don't want that. At the end of my life, I don't want to say I regret not trying X, Y, and Z when I had all the power to try it. So try it. I mean, this goes with writing your own story, and really leaning into this way of life that I always think of, like, what's life if you don't have stories to tell? Even if whether they're successful or not, it's a story. It's a story that brings more dynamic perspective into your life, that gives you great learning lessons, great experiences, right? Maybe it's not the outcome that you want, but it's an outcome. It's an outcome that wouldn't have existed had you had not tried. And so really, what stories are you wanting to create? What stories are you wanting to share? And really looking at the journey of life, and really thinking of like, hey, I want to do this thing and I want to do it well. There's no adventure in that. Even when you look at movies and read books, there's not a book or there's not a story if the main character wants to do the thing and then the next page they do it. No, there's so much juiciness that has to be explored and experienced in that in between. And so I say all this to say, harness the power of now, really looking at not like just thinking outside of the new year trend and phase of resolutions, but really looking at who do you want to be in your life? What story do you want to write about, or what story do you want to have about yourself when you look back through your journey of this life? And what choices are you making to support that? And really believing that you can do whatever you want. Obviously without causing harm and destruction to other people and the planet, or trying to mitigate harm done. But, in the scheme of things, like, you can make your life whatever you want it to be. You just have to believe in yourself, create meaningful steps to do so, and to stay consistent. And so, yes, that is yes. That's the power of now, really creating your own story, really believing that the impossible is possible, and that as long as you have that want and you are alive and breathing, it's possible. Um, it may just take a little bit of innovation and imagination to make it happen. And shameless plug, if you're hearing all this and you're like, I still don't understand, and this whole idea is too much for me to wrap my brain around and create steps, that's what I do. This is what Curious Sunshine is all about. I provide playful life coaching. I have so many tools and ideas and resources for you to tap into to make it less daunting, to make it seem attainable, to make it seem reachable. So if you are interested, please check out my website, Curious Sunshine. Book a session. I have a free 30-minute consultation or a free 30-minute, imagination call where we come together and really talk about what play means. And if you want to take it a step further, I do have consultation. And if you want to really dive deep, I have coaching programs. So it is possible. I'm here to tell you it's possible. And I'm also here to say that if you need someone to witness, hold your hand, and walk this journey with you, I am here for that. I love doing that. I love seeing people grow and really achieve things that they never even thought were possible. So, yes, put down in the comment section something, what story do you want to tell about yourself? What's something that you want to be? What's something that you told yourself that you couldn't do, but are maybe warming up to the idea that maybe it is possible? Put it down in the comment. You could inspire other people or open up the brain waves of possibility for others who are watching this video. So that is all. Thank you for watching and thank you for playing.